And when we whoop enough ass, everybody gonna get in line and do right.
I want to start off by giving honor and glory to our God,
Amen.
to our Christ in the person of Jesus Christ. I want to thank Sister Janine and Sister Tanya for allowing me to present.
Amen.
And I want to thank our youth for giving me a little bit of time.
Amen.
That needs to be brought. Amen. So when we look at the Bible and understanding that Black History Month is this time, we also got to understand that we are in this Bible. We are the fulfillment of this Bible. And so understanding and knowing that should give you a different perspective of what we got going on and how do we come out of this oppression that we are under.
Amen.
So people want to understand and know, well, first of all, where are we in the Bible? Well, if we turn to Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, it says, "And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, that they shall afflict them for 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and after they shall come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age." Now, a lot of people think that is referring to the Jews back then. But that's not referring to the Jews back then. Because even in the Bible, and we'll go over that, they said that they have never been enslaved to no man. It's not in their history. It's not in the history of the Egyptians. But this is a roadmap because you are the ones that been enslaved in a strange land for 400 years. You are the ones that have been afflicted. You are the ones who have been snatched and taken away your names, your language, your culture. You are the ones, if your original language was written in big boxcar letters, you couldn't read it. But you are the ones who was in God's plans before your mama met your daddy. Amen. You are the ones that was in God's thoughts before you even came into existence. Amen. And this is something that we got to go and understand the reality of. Because we're here in a strange land. Come on. Now in John 1, chapter 8, verse 31, Jesus and the Jews are going back and forth. Then said Jesus to the Jews which believed on him, "If ye continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Then they answered him and said, "We be Abraham's seed, and we were never in bondage to any man. How sayeth that thou shalt be made free?" So they're making it plain. We weren't enslaved. We weren't in bondage. So how are we going to be made free? See, but it's you that need to be made free. It is you that is in bondage. You say, "Well, Brother Muhammad, we're not enslaved," but you're chained mentally. And it's those mental chains that's stopping you from being progressive. It's stopping you from being who God declared you to be. It's stopping you from being in authority as you should be. It's stopping you from having all power and all glory. Because you're chained mentally. Come on. Now we got to understand that during our enslavement, our ancestors' enslavement, once they were freed, the United States government sent people out to record what they went through, to have it in writing and have it in audio, so people can understand and bear witness to the truth. Not to the truth of you're a powerful people, but it teaches their little ones. Look what we did to them. This is what we can always do to them. That's why they found those children in the Catholic school saying nigga this and nigga that.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
See, they don't see you as they see themselves. They see you as something that should serve them.
Go ahead. You preach it.
But they're not worthy of your servants.
Amen.
Only God and God alone should we serve.
Amen.
And you got to understand that. And you got to make this word real. Because we're on the cross. See, America is Calvary for us. America is Golgotha for us. How do we know this? Because they kill your children.
Amen.
They kill your old. They kill your young. And you're on the cross. But it's time for you to break the cross and come down with all the power because he rose.
Amen.
He rose so you can ride.
Amen.
Now let us turn and listen to some of our ancestors.
He have experienced the most profound effect. He was a graduate student when he interviewed the former slaves, including the two women you hear in this broadcast. Himself interviewed just before he died in 1979, Falk was going on about how he believed in giving blacks the right to go to school, giving them the right to vote, giving them the right to go into anything they qualified for. And then he said he experienced an epiphany.
I was sitting there on a wagon top with this old black man, and was telling him what a different kind of white man I was. I remember him looking at me very sadly and kind of sweetly and condescending and said, "You know, you still got the disease, honey. I know you think you're cured, but you're not cured. You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm born with that right. Now, you can keep me from having that. If you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side, you can deprive me of it. But you can't give it to me. And I'm born with it just like you was." My God, it had a profound effect on me. I was furious with him. But the more I reflect on it, the more profoundly it affected me. And I realized this was where it really was.
Tell you the truth, when I think of it today, I don't know how I'm living.
I remember that this is well look like to me, I can.
Been saved all our lives, and mother was slave, sister was slave, father was slave.
They know nothing about me like that. All that I know is that teachers mind them off when they miss it. Mom didn't know where to go. She had the tree to go. Just started just like he told some mountain children. They didn't know where to go.
They are haunting voices from the past, not actors reading a script or scholars reading a text, but the actual voices of men and women, Americans, who were born in slavery.
My name is Sampson Hughes. I was born in Charlottesville, Virginia. My grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson. My grandfather was 115 years old when he died. And now I am 101 years old. Some people didn't have no beds when they're slaves. He won't sleep on the floor. Tied up here and tied up down. Just like a lot of wild people. We didn't do nothing. Didn't write it up in no book.
Harriet Smith, remembering what she saw as a small girl during the final days of the Civil War.
We said all that picket fence, all day long, seeing those soldiers going back, the silent zone, and this and that. Colored soldiers in gold. And right along by our house. Our home to the two-story house to fight for.
These recorded memories were among thousands of interviews done with ex-slaves in the 1930s and 40s.
Do you remember slavery days very
Of
well?
course, I remember all our white folks, and all the names of them, all the children. Call every one of the children's names.
Who did you belong?
The big brother, the baby boy.
The results of these digitally enhanced recordings are arresting, almost unbelievable. The idea of hearing the voices of actual slaves from the plantations of the Old South is as powerful, as startling really, as if you could hear Abraham Lincoln or Robert E. Lee speak. Listen again to Fountain Hughes, who was born in 1848.
we were slaves. We belonged to people. They sell us like they sell horses with power and clothes and all like that. Have all the auction in the bench. And put you up on the bench and beat on you. They say you're bidding on the cattle, you know.
Much of what these three former slaves say may at first seem unremarkable. Much of what they say may surprise and upset. And their calm demeanor is at odds with the evil and violence we associate with slavery. Here is 91-year-old Texan Laura Smalley talking in the 1940s about the outcome of a tussle between two women, one black, one white, one slave, one mistress. The mistress tried to slap the slave, but the black woman pushed her into a chair. Laura Smalley was a girl at the time, but she remembers vividly what happened to the black woman when the master came home.
But if they never woman carried the piece of it and whipped them. And they just tied her hand this way, you know, around the piece of the tree. I remember that just as well, looked like to me, I can. And round the tree and whipped her. Well, she couldn't do nothing but just kick her feet, you know, just kick her feet. But it just had a clothes all down to her waist, you know. It didn't have a plumb naked, but they had a clothes down to her waist. And every now and then they took her, you know, and then snuffed the pipe out on her, you know, snuffed the pipe out on her. You know, them was in the pipe, or you'll see the pipe smoking. Going out on
The plantation on which Smalley was a slave sounds brutal. She recalls scrambling with other children for food from a huge wooden tray, like a hog trough.
All of them, you know, would get around that tray with spoons and eat something like mush or soup or something like that. You know, all them children get around there and just eat.
Fountain Hughes tells his interviewer about the relentless round of work for him on a Virginia plantation.
At night, you know, coming up, you have nothing to do. Time to cut tobacco. If they want you to cut all night long every field, you cut. And if they want you to hang all night long, you hang your back. It doesn't matter what you're tired, being tired and afraid to tell you're tired.
It was cotton, not tobacco, that solidified slavery. The invention of the cotton gin at the end of the 18th century made its processing easy, but the crop still needed enormous amounts of unskilled labor. Control of the slave and his labor through laws and regulations became paramount. Fountain Hughes talks about one of those controls, the pass system.
Now I couldn't go from here across the street, or I couldn't go to nobody's house without I have a note or something from my master. And if I had that pass, I was what we call a pass. If I had that pass, I could go wherever he sent me, and I'd have to be back, you know, wherever he sent me to. They'd give me another pass, and I'd bring that back, so to show how.
Even emancipation didn't truly free the slaves. Freedom freed slaves for more travail. The end of the Civil War found many cast adrift without skills and no place to go. And the Yankees who freed them weren't always seen as benevolent liberators.
I remember when the Yankees came along and took all the good horses and took all the meat and flour and sugar and stuff out in the river, and they go down the river. And you know the people wouldn't have nothing to do, but they don't have.
The ex-slaves left one hell for another, perhaps an even more dangerous one. No longer property, they didn't have the protections afforded property.
When we were slaves, we couldn't do that. See? When we got free, we didn't know nothing to do. And my mother, she heard places and bound herself for.
So as you heard, the slaves speak for themselves. Langston Hughes said, I don't know how I lived. When it was time for freedom, they had nowhere to go. It just turned out they didn't have the protection that property had because you were so-called free. Well, when we turn to Corinthians, Second Corinthians chapter 16, chapter 6, verse 16 says, and what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God, as God has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, said the Lord Almighty. We have decisions to make. God never meant for us to integrate with the enemies of God. He said, be ye separate. Come out of her, my people. Now, if you ain't God's people, stay. But if you're God's people, come out of her and be not partakers of her sins and her plagues. They will have to pay for what was done. Don't get caught up in the destruction of a man.
You better get the message and get it straight.
You're going to need some bridge work. It's simple as that.
Because we're living in judgment. We're living in implementation.